Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be recapping day 6 of the Washington Commanders OTAs, talking about some of the biggest plays, some guys that impressed and some guys that didn't really do so great. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. Really does help with the channel. So just take 1 second, hit that subscribe button and check out Man to Sleep. Use code HTTC for 10% off. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter recap because the media was not there, but Zach Selby does do these recaps when he's the only one there, and he kind of does this notebook and it gives you guys a little bit of a glimpse into it. So just want to talk about that. Have no clips. Someone was kind of complaining yesterday I had no clips. I did have a few clips, but can't have any clips today because the media isn't there, but I'll try to get some more clips in there when the media is there. So the Commanders wrapped up another week of OTAs, and I think generally they have another week or another few sessions, but they were disciplined last year, so they're missing some OTAs this year. But yeah, they got minicamp next week, and that's when Chase Young, Montez Sweat, all those guys should be there, and I'm excited to see that. So let's talk about some of the big plays. And Zach Selby writes, Jahan Dotson made a mistake, but it didn't take long to repent of his ways. During team drills, he had a pass bounce off his chest. It would have been a really heavily contested catch, but he could have hauled it in. That earned some yelling from Bieniemy after the play. You got to catch that. Bieniemy barked from 30 yards away. I guarantee you, Scott Turner last year would not have yelled anything after that. He might have thought it in his head, but he didn't yell it. And when someone yells at you, at least in the beginning, at least when you're first meeting that person, you don't want to not impress them. It puts a bad impression on you, or it just puts a kind of bad taste in your mouth, and you don't want them to have that that impression of you, that you drop passes, or even if it's a tough catch, you're not making it. So he came back and didn't drop a pass for the rest of the day. He hauled in his targets and even got some yards after the catch. And yeah, so he had a good day, and that's good to hear him bounce back from that. His hands were one of the selling points of him, in the draft and everything. And he, for the most part, had a really good year last year, but there were definitely some passes where he should have caught it that he dropped. And hopefully that is one thing that he can get better on from year 1 to year 2. He said a few other receivers who are on the bottom of the roster that made some impressive catches today. And I love that he's talking about this because, one of these undrafted free agents / second year undrafted free agents might end up making the 53-man roster. So that's something that you want to, kind of check on. So Khaleke McCowan, who's second-year undrafted free agent receiver out of Georgia State, Zion Bowens, and Mitchell Tinsley, who's out of Penn State, all made grabs that earned some praise from Bieniemy. John Bates was also a reliable target during red zone drills, securing a touchdown around the middle of the field. Good to hear there. And Eric Bieniemy spoke today. So did Jack Del Rio and some players. So I think some players did. So I'll go over some comments that they made. We haven't heard much about the linebackers, and this partly because Jamin Davis has been out. But Khaleke Hudson, blew up a screen pass early in team drills, corralling Brian Robinson before he could gain any momentum. He says Hudson has had a solid ending to the 2022 season, recording 7 tackles in the season finale against the Cowboys. If Hudson is to take on a larger role this season, he will need to make some more plays like that in training camp. And before I go any further, again, shout out to Zach Selby for giving us all this great information. I'll make sure to link this story in the description, so go ahead and check it out if you guys want to read through. And he's also has some links in terms of, some press conferences if you guys want to check that out too. He also says it was a good day for the secondary as the group forced Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett to hold the ball for longer than intended and scrambled to keep plays alive during 7-on-7 drills. They also had 2 interceptions today, the last of which was from the newcomer Terrell Burgess on a pass from Howell, targeting Terry McLaurin to cap off the day. Real quick, a word from our sponsor. And huge shout out to Man to Sleep for sponsoring this video. They make the best sleep masks in the world. They have a bunch of different types that can change temperatures, that can change the sound that you're listening to when you're going to bed and when you're waking up. I've been using it for the last month or so, and it's done wonders for my sleep. My sleep has improved drastically. I've been getting good quality sleep whenever I'm having a tough time sleeping. I just put the mask on and go to bed, and it's great. So check them out. Use code HTTC for 10% off. So looks like the newcomer Terrell Burgess had a pretty, had a good day already. And I think they signed him, 2 days ago? So already making an interception, making a good impression. First impression on Jack Del Rio. And, I mean, I guess he was playing with the first team because, I mean, if he's on Terry McLaurin, I mean, he's going up against the first team. So that's pretty impressive right there. And, yeah, Bieniemy talked at the podium. He talked about Sam Howell, says he's a very competitive kid. He understands some of the times when he makes mistakes. And the only thing he wants to know is what he can do to get better. More than anything, I'm enjoying just watching him work and how he handles the highs and the lows, because you're going to have some of that over the course of working during the offseason. It seems like today was more of a low day a little bit. And he says Howell's always steady. His demeanor does not change. And I will say this, he autocorrects himself as well. All great things to hear. Bieniemy also vouched for Chris Rodriguez during the draft process because of his talent and knack for finding the end zone. Former Kentucky Wildcat is going through some growing pains like the rest of the rookies, but Bieniemy said he is doing everything he can to bring value to the roster. Chris is a hardworking kid. He takes tremendous amount of pride in everything he does right now. I think he's in a good place. And it seems like he's been a little bit harder on Chris Rodriguez than some of the other guys on the offense or the other rookies. But I feel like that's kind of because of what he said right here, that he vouched for him in the draft process. So he wants to he likes him a lot, and he wants to make sure he succeeds because it'll look good on him, and he clearly likes him. So, yeah. And then Jack Del Rio talked. He talked about how he's ecstatic to have Emmanuel Forbes as part of the secondary. And a quote from him, he says, he's a tremendous player. He's fast. He's got great ball skill. He's very bright, and he played against some of the best comp you can get in the SEC and held up week in and week out. And kind of some things on Jamin Davis. Del Rio says we should expect him to be at his best. He's going to be challenged. I'm going to be honest with you. He's shown that he's going to be a valuable piece for us. Yeah, I mean, this is a big year for Jamin Davis. We saw the jump from year 1 to year 2. He got better. He got a decent amount better. He went from terrible, let's keep it real. He was not good in his rookie year. He was really bad. Terrible for a first-round pick. Let's at least say that. And then year 2, he went from pretty bad to, in that close to that average range, okay? And then in year 3, this is when, okay, yes, you're a project player, but by year 3, you should be showing something. You should be at least an above average, or you got to be a good linebacker. So that's what I'm expecting out of Jamin Davis this year. And by year 4, he's got to be, if he wants to live up to that first-round pick, he's got to be a Pro Bowler. I mean, that's just how it is. I don't know if he's going to get to that point, but that's just what I'm saying right there. Some kind of quotes from Bieniemy, and I watched some of it. He seemed hyped. He's excited for training camp. I can tell you that much. And Eric Bieniemy says, yes, Coach EB can get out of hand. Those guys know I want them to strive for perfection. And we talked about the Howell thing. Bieniemy says, I'm always open and honest with the guys. If I make a mistake, I'm like, hey, fellas, I screwed this up. My job is to make sure I'm always held accountable. The last thing I want to do is lose that trust. And that's I like that. There's a fine line between, yelling a ton, but also if you're yelling, you got to make sure you're doing your job correctly at the same time. But yeah, it seems like Bieniemy gets that. He can yell all he wants, but he's got to make sure he's ready and he's not making mistakes. And I'm sure he's going to be fine with that. I mean, he's going to make some mistakes. I mean, everyone will, but I really, really like this response by him right here. Gonna have to give that a like. And shout out to John Kine for all the quotes and all the other DC beat reporters. And then Bieniemy says, I'm already fired up about training camp. I'm fired up as well. Cannot wait to I think I'll be able to go as, to some of these practices as well. Maybe get you guys a couple vlogs. And yeah, those are kind of the main Bieniemy quotes. And then Jack Del Rio and Chase Young, Montez Sweat. It's a voluntary time of year. I'm grateful for the guys that are here. We're getting a lot of good work in and establishing our culture. I don't think Del Rio minds a ton. I obviously would want to be there, but he would want them to be there. But I feel like Chase and Montez have a really good relationship with Jack Del Rio. I think they do. Del Rio and Sweat, when he starts finishing at a high rate, his numbers are going to explode. I mean, we've been saying that at least I have the last couple of years, this is finally the year. This is finally the year. And I think this year might actually finally be the year, because contract year, and hey, it's his 4th year, or 5th year. So, he's going to have to explode at some point, or he's just not the guy that we thought he would be. Payne finally exploded last year in his contract year. So hopefully Montez explodes this year. And then, let's see, starting fast and creating more turnovers. Those are two areas I feel defensively for us to contribute and give us a chance to win a bunch of games. We have to be strong in those two areas. And I don't know if he's talking about starting the season better or the games, but both need to happen. Both need to happen for sure. And let's see, Del Rio and Jamin Davis's 2022 season, we had more splash plays and less what the heck are you doing plays. We need that trend to continue. I mean, we need very, very few what the heck are you doing plays and a lot more splash plays. Like, I feel like last year, Jamin kind of went to the way less what the heck are you doing plays, but still not many splash plays. So this year, we need to maybe diminish the what the heck are you doing plays by a little bit, but I think it's not at a high rate, so that's good. So maybe diminish it by whatever, 10, 20%. But get those splash plays up because I still haven't seen that much. He gets some sacks, and they were blitzing him early. I want to see that more. But so he had a couple splash plays in terms of blitzing, but then besides that, there were not too many. So I want to see more by him this year, and I think we will see more from him. So I think that's it for the recap. Nothing crazy happened in OTAs, and you get less coverage because the media isn't there. But yeah, another day. Shout out John Keim and shout out Zach Selby for the reporting. And yeah, we'll have another video for you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.